Joe here, your reliability man, bridging the gap between best practices and the reality that you live every day on the shop floor. Today's topic, DMS gone wild. Okay, there's going to be a connection to reliability and maintenance. Make sure you look for it. I'll spell it out. So first of all, hey, this is my rendition of an iceberg. You've seen these models before. You got the water level here. You got what you see up here, and you got what's below the water line inside, in this case, inside the culture that we want to talk about. So daily management systems. These are your, some people have level 1, level 2, level 3 levels of DMS, where one's the frontline supervisor, and then it's the second level supervisor, and then it can be an entire plant daily management system. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what goes on in these. First of all, from a positive standpoint, here in green, we're managing by numbers. We're a technical group. We're managing by the numbers. You're managing by KPIs. There's accountability when you're talking about your numbers. It's kind of like having your report card at school posted up on the wall. There's communication that happens between everybody. You know what everybody's concerns are. You can help them out. There's alignment in the organization, and then there's learning that takes place. A lot of great things come about from daily management. I'm a massive fan of daily management, but there's some unintended consequences we need to talk about. One is, and I'm really focusing on this level 3, the plant one, but 2 to 4 hours is consumed in preparation by managers, superintendents, and supervisors. These are from my firsthand observations, surveying people, observing people, and this is more than a couple dozen. But they spend 2 to 4 hours prepping for this. Okay, this is about a 45-minute meeting, maybe 40, some as low as 20, which are really good, efficient meetings. But I've seen typically around 40. It's 1 to 2 hours a day, doing hour by hour, keeping current with what's going on in your area. Because the expectation is you need to know what's going on at all times in your area. You must know everything. 2 to 4 hours of delayed decision making. Say this daily meeting's at 10 o'clock in the morning. So the superintendent comes in at 7 o'clock. They know what they want to do, 7:15, 7:30, but they're waiting on the boss-centered culture to say that it's best to go left or go right. So decisions are delayed. First-hand observation. Also when you have this daily management, and say you have the plant manager in there, which was the case for my meeting, my job, which I stopped, is all this information gets compiled and everybody's looking to the plant manager to make the decision. Very boss-centered tendencies with daily management, and you got to attack that. Okay, so what you're sending a message of incompetence to the organization. I have to bring this up to the organization. It has to get cascaded all the way up to the plant. Then they're going to say yay or nay that we need to do the recommendation. And who's the most knowledgeable person? The lower level lower you are in the organization, the more knowledgeable you are. So it's heavily boss-centered. And what message are you sending people? Also, the talent pipeline. If everything's going up to the top management to make decisions, there's no development of the people. People don't make mistakes. People don't get to implement their plans because they're too busy working on somebody else's agenda, and somebody else is making those decisions for them. So no development. And who really wants those second-level superintendent type jobs? Because all they're doing is they take the heat from the shop floor and they take direction from above. They don't get to bring any of their skills to the table. All they're doing is working on somebody else's agenda. More things, and I've labeled this whole thing the culture. This is the tie into reliability. The culture. The culture is you can't say I don't know. You're not allowed to say I don't know. And we all have examples of that. At 1:30 in the afternoon, the boss calls you up and say, hey, this critical production center's been down for 2 hours. Why is it down? Raise your hand if you can say, I don't know. I was routine at saying I don't know. And that's my challenge to you. Say, I don't know. That's okay. That's not your job. And I hate those words. That's not my job. But if I'm not working on the strategic trends of the organization, who is? caution with this daily management is you're always working on the here and now, and you're always looking in the rearview mirror. It lowers the trust in the organization because the boss is deciding. Opportunity cost. This is massive, massive that we all understand this. What's the opportunity cost when people are spending 4 hours a day, and this is a common number, is I spend 4 hours a day preparing for and reacting from the daily management meetings. So that 4 hours a day, you add your normal meetings that you go to on, environmental and safety and on updates. Maybe it's your maintenance planning meetings, and then you add some email in there. Guess what? You're pushing a 10-hour day. So this 4 hours, who's working on improvement? Who's doing observation? Who's working on relationships? The opportunity costs that we're throwing in and has gotten consumed into this DMS gone wild is sacrificing improvement, opportunity, or improvement, observation, and relationships. That's the culture. A couple more culture things going on that I want to specifically spell out. Leaders must be the smartest person in the room. Leaders were once successful in the lower roles, and they long for those glory days of when they can make decisions, in the here and now. And as you go up higher in the organization, you're working on issues that are maybe 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road. And boy, sometimes you enjoy putting on that engineering hat and making some decisions on which valve to install or what to adjust on a rolling mill. Are there trust issues? Are you not making organizational decisions that you should be making? And the way you're compensating with that is you're making the decisions. We hire very talented people. Let them do their job. If they can't do their job, you got to make organization decisions. But let them do, and let them decide. Let them fail. Let it be their plan, top to bottom. All must know everything or you're a bad leader. If you don't know everything about your 2,000 person plant and your 200 production centers you got, if you don't know everything all the time at any time, you're a bad leader. These are things that are crippling manufacturing today. It's a disease in manufacturing. Everybody has to know everything instead of doing your job. It's a disease, I think, that is inflicting manufacturing. You couple this daily management, everybody needs to know everything, with what's happened electronically and with data. It's overwhelming people, and what's happening is we're sacrificing shop floor time, observation time, and time with relationships on the floor. So what did I do? I'm not going to give you some nirvana, some grandiose idea of where this could go. I'm going to tell you what I did. First of all, top management, my direct lead team, they did not go the daily management. Stopped going. Cut off the head of the snake. Stopped going. I didn't go. Day one, when I started this job as plant manager, I stopped going to the DMS. The superintendents needed to run the place, the next layer down in the organization. They were fully capable of making those decisions, and if they couldn't, we needed to take action. We need to coach and mentor them up. Coach, train. And if we had to replace them, we replaced them. So they run the plant. We had education on time span of control. Time span of control looks at, a frontline supervisor, they're looking at, on a process of what decisions need to be made this shift, next shift, tomorrow. The next level supervisor up is looking at, they need to audit the here and now, what's going on, but they're looking at next week, next month, next quarter, next 6 months, maybe even a year. So they're looking at that time span. And then you go up another level, they're looking at sampling current state, sampling the 1 week to 2 weeks to 2 months, but they're accountable for the long-term trends, 6 months, a year, even 2 years. So when you're all trapped into this DMS gone wild, everybody's working on today. And when everybody's working on today, who's working on tomorrow, right? So education on time span of control. Looked at each job band, each supervisory layer. What's their span that there's time that they're supposed to be looking at? We're looking at weeks, months, years. Okay, make a graph of that. Made it okay to say I don't know. When I called one of my staff and said, "Hey, this has been down for a day," it was okay to say I don't know. Shocking to most people. Okay, I'm trusting them to do the job. I'm trusting they have a plan. They're accountable for the trends. They're accountable for the monthly and quarterly numbers. I'm just going to get in their way, right? And I'm stealing hours from them by expecting them to know everything all the time. Managers accountable for trends. Think of the stock market. Think if every day you woke up, you looked at your stock and made an action based on that stock. So if your stock went down $2, you make this action. The next day it goes up $1, you make this action. That's what DMS can turn into. Again, don't say Joe's not a fan of DMS meetings. Joe's doesn't like DMS meeting where there's too many layers in there that it takes away the leadership from the people closest to the processes from making those decisions. And most often that's top level management. Your top layer, cut off that head of that snake, and boy, you free up a lot of time. Massive fan of DMS. Okay, results. I freed up 4 hours a day of my top leaders. 4 hours a day, 1 to 2 hours for the second level leaders. Okay? Decisions were made faster and there was more ownership. It's their plan. Okay? So think about, you've got time now. You've got time now for observation and improvement. That's the tie into reliability and maintenance. You got time to go out and sit in the operator's booth, right? You got time to do chalk circle. And look at what we did for developing leaders. It's just great stuff on developing people. So your lean-driven reliability task. What do we want me to do from this, Joe? Hey, challenge your organization to say it's okay to say I don't know. That's not a big, X on my name if I say I don't know. If I've got an organization that's accountable, I got rules of when they communicate to me, and it's okay to say I don't know. Run a 90-day experiment. Have fun with it.